Hello friends. In today's demonstration, I'll showcase the supply chain financial orchestration. Now let's understand what is supply chain financial orchestration. A system that automatically manages the financial transactions related to a supply chain process, such as purchase orders, shipments, and receipts by triggering the accounting entries. Let's take an example. When you're transferring the goods from one inventory org to another inventory org, and if both belongs to different legal entities, then the flow will trigger the intercompany transactions. Let's deep dive into the session now. The very first step is to understand the demand process. The demand can be raised through various means. Manage items screen is through which you can raise a demand. Now, if you're checking the inventory and found the shortage on one particular item, you can raise a demand at that point. The second demand process is min-max planning. Now, when you're running the min-max planning report, it can also trigger the demand if the stock reaches below the minimum level, and you can replenish the inventory either from supplier or any other inventory org. Now, third one is self-service procurement through intermaterial transfer. So you can initiate transfer of goods from one inventory org to another through self-service procurement, which is our scope for today. And finally, if you have a planning system which is sitting outside Fusion, like sort of Accelerator or Blue Yonder, that triggers the demand in Fusion via REST API. So you can raise your demand through REST APIs. So agenda of today's session is from the source organization perspective, we'll raise the demand via self-service procurement, internal material transfer. Then we'll check supply chain orchestration and making sure the transfer order is getting created. We'll do the pick release, we'll do the create shipment, we'll validate the inventory, whether the goods have been shipped out actually from the inventory org. We'll run the managed shipment interface. And from destination organization, we'll receive the expected shipment, we'll put away, we'll do the validation on the inventory side. And from the costing perspective, we'll have to run a couple of interfaces, the ESS jobs, run transfer transaction from inventory to costing. Because we have created transfer order, it resides in inventory, that needs to be brought into costing module. Run transfer transactions from receiving to costing, because we have received the goods in destination organization, so even that needs to be pushed into the costing module. Then we'll run create cost accounting distribution, and then we'll run create receipt accounting distribution. Last but not the least, we will walk through on some of the financial orchestration setups. We'll run auto invoice to generate AR intercompany invoice. We will run import payable invoice for AP intercompany invoice. Let's log into Oracle Fusion and create a transfer order through self-service procurement. So we'll log into Fusion and you have to come to procurement workbench, and you can see there are quite a few options over here. Purchase requisitions, you can create purchase agreements, purchase orders, my receipts, negotiations, catalogs, suppliers. We'll select purchase requisition. Now, before we initiate any transaction, it is important to set up requisition preferences. Now, this is important from the perspective like if the requisition PUs are assigned to a single requester. So when you're selecting the requisition, it will always take the default requisition BU from requisition preferences. And there are quite few things actually you can set this as a default value, like requester, delivered to location, what is your destination type, is inventory or expenses or sub inventory, and you can also add your charge accounts. Okay, so we'll create a transfer order. So you need to come to enter requisition line option, select line type as goods, item, till rolls. It should default your descriptions and pricing. On the right hand side, you have to select which is your source organization. So we are selecting Pepco Poland head office. And it will default all the sub inventories. Once you press OK, it will default all your sub inventories for that particular organization. Now you can select, you might have seen like delivered location, everything has been defaulted from your preferences. Add to cart. Now you cannot press the submit button. Now press the done button actually, and you'll find, yeah, review this requisition. The reason we are not able to submit straight away just because there is a mandatory field or DFF which was enabled, and this was specific to our requirement. Now this requirement was to enable a list of values or list of, well, at the line level, to identify whether it's a capex or it's a opex, and based on that the accounting rule, SL accounting rule, was written to derive the charge of account. So we'll select the asset classification. Okay, press submit. And requisition 16, number 16 was submitted, so it has been created, and it will go for an approval process. Now since there was no proper approval process, it was auto approve, uh, it will get approved in a short while. So from raising a demand, so we have created a demand through self-service procurement, we have created requisition, we have approved requisition. Requisition, you need to come to supply chain execution to check whether the transfer order got created. So if you see like this screen, it will show you errors, exceptions, jeopardy, and on track. So there are some of the transfer orders which are in error state or exception state, but this is the one which we are going to be checking right now. And sometimes it takes time actually to get the transfer order created because it goes through the process. So you just press the refresh button. Okay, so now you can see the document number 1004 is nothing but it's a transfer order. You can check even in manage supply lines. So that's an option actually to query basically based on your document number. Okay, so this 1004 is a transfer order. The transfer order which was created. So we'll come to manage transfer order, query the transfer order number 110004, and we'll check the status of the transfer order. If you see the status, fulfillment status is awaiting fulfillment because we haven't done the shipment as yet. Okay, and the requested quantity is 1, ship quantity is 0 right now. And this is my chart of account which is getting inherited from requisition screen. When you press view shipments and receipts, you'll come to this screen and you can see the lines has been created, but there's no receipts. So the shipment has not been created as yet. So once you create the shipment, the fulfillment status will be set to shipped till the time it will be awaiting fulfillment. So let's check the shipment. Okay, you need to come to show task. Click on manage shipment lines because we have seen the shipment lines were created. So we need to create the shipment now. Now the scheduled ship date is not today, so we need to change it to there's a list of values basically, so you need to select for the future date. So if you select for the future date, then only those transfer order, the shipment line is going to be appearing. So you need to select. Okay, so the shipment has not been created. We'll do the pick release. Okay, so pick release has been done. And there is a process basically, you have to set up the pick release rule, like from which sub inventory you need to pick this up and all that basically, but that's a different setup basically on order management side. So we have done the pick release. I'll press the save button so that the shipment gets created. You can see the shipment has been created after the pick release process was completed. So my shipment number is 7002. We'll create on shipment 7002. Now, since we haven't done the ship confirm, the next step is to perform ship confirm. Search shipment. Yeah, I haven't done the ship confirm because you need to populate all the details like transportation reason, free, and description of the shipment. So these are the mandatory fields before you do the ship confirm. Once you do the ship confirm, it will ship out the goods actually from the sub inventory. The stopping transfer of TDOs to Italy, ship confirm. Okay, so line stage status is staged. This should update the status to shipped. So one quantity has been shipped. So we have done the shipment. Now we'll do the receipting cycle. Now the receipting is going to be happening on the destination organization. So we'll just log into Fusion. We'll go to supply chain orchestration. and inventory management. Within inventory management, we have to select the receive expected shipments. We'll enter the transfer order which we have created in the previous section. Okay, so now see the receipting can happen in three different modes: standard, inspection, and the direct delivery basically. Now, since my transfer order was a standard delivery, we need to break down into two transactions. One is receiving the goods and then put away the transactions. When you put away the transactions, your inventory is going to be updated. To complete the receipting process, let's go to the inventory page and check the inventory of the destination organization. Okay, I'm just selecting the inventory organization, which is Pepco Italy, because Italy is going to be receiving the goods. So we'll just quickly check the inventory for that particular item. Okay, so you can see the on-hand quantity is 2, and now we'll be receiving the goods. Press the receive button and then accept the receipt quantity. I'm not going to put all those details. These are not non-mandatory details, so we can just press the button. Okay, so if you see the receiving side, inbound side, inbound is like the first step, and where when it gets interface, we are expecting the receipts, and receiving is like once you have pressed the received expected shipment, it will come into receiving, and now once we have put away, it will update the inventory, because at the time of put away, you need to put the sub inventory. So we are doing the put away receipts. Enter the same transfer order number 10004 and select the transaction, press the put away, and if you see like sub inventory is defaulted because there's only one sub inventory under this inventory organization. We can check the inventory now. If you see, the on-hand quantity has increased to number 3. Okay, so we have completed all 3 activities: received expected shipments, put away, and checking the inventory. Now we'll deep dive into the costing section, where we have to run a couple of interfaces, which are managed transactions from inventory to costing, because the transactions which are like transfer order needs to be pushed into the costing. We have done the receiving, so we need to push that into costing. We'll create the cost distributions, create receipt accounting distributions, and that will complete our costing activities. Click on the burger menu, come to tools, schedule the processes. So here we are going to run 2 ESS jobs: transfer transaction to costing Now this is to transfer all accounting entries related to the transfer orders, which is for the source organization. Here we have to select the cost organization. Now if you haven't gone through my earlier video on costing, please go through that video which explains you more about cost organization and cost book. We'll select the source organization here, which is Pepco Poland Cost Center. So we'll run for both the cost organization. One is for the source organization, and second is for the for destination organization, which is Pepco Italy. And now we are going to run transfer transactions from receiving to costing. Now this is only for the destination organization because we have received the goods. We have to account that in cost accounting. Okay, we'll check the logs and we'll check the text file, which will show you how many records got processed. Yeah, so number of records processed 3. This is good to go. Okay, so we have completed 2 activities with running ESS jobs. Now we're going to run create cost distribution, create cost accounting distribution, analyze cost processing. Okay, so here we are going to select the run control. I've already created run control for Poland. You need not have to create again and again. All you have to change is your cutoff date. The cutoff date is going to derive which transaction you want to include in the processing. So these are the processes like which are going to be run behind the scene: pre-processor, cost processor, COGS recognition, cost distribution, and cost reports processor. So when you schedule the processes behind the scene, there are sub processes running. So you need to just change the cutoff date over here. Okay, I'm just changing to include December transactions. Press the submit button. Okay, and similarly, we have to submit for Italy cost organization as well. Okay, I'm just going to change the cutoff date and submit the process. The next step is to review this cost accounting process. Now we'll check cost accounting processes. Okay, so we'll enter the run control, the one which we have created for Poland, and we'll select the process ID as well. Because with one run control, you can have many process IDs. So now if you see like it has been errored out, it says like the cost book doesn't have the open period. So we might have to go back to the cost accounting calendar. Okay, so you have to just come to review cost accounting periods. Yeah, you have to just select the cost organization, select cost book, and okay, so you can see the period was not open. So we'll just open this period and we'll have to rerun this concurrent program. Okay, so I've just opened the period and now I've rerun that period concurrent program. Okay, I just entered into wrong option. And we'll check with the new ID, which is 58. It should be 58. Let me check. Let me confirm actually what ID it was. It was done. Okay, so it was 58. So right, 2090258. So we'll be just quickly checking the status of the concurrent programs. Okay, so yeah, it's processor 2058. All processes are completed. And now we'll go back to review cost accounting processes. Click on Run Control and enter the process IDs. Okay, so now the process has been successfully completed. You can see like the error has gone up, and now like it's showing me the record count as well. Actually, that means the process got completed. It has picked up all the rows actually for the cost accounting. Okay, so done. To review cost accounting distribution, now we can check for both the cost organization because one is the source organization and second is the receiving organization or destination organization. Now, since we haven't put the proper date to pick up a specific transaction, it's giving me all the transaction which are related to this particular cost organization. So we might have to go to the search criteria and filter based on the transaction date. Let me go back to the search and I'll change the date to 12/03/24. Okay, so you can see all the transactions, all the events which are related to my transaction. One was shipping and second one was receiving side. And you can further drill down by pressing the view details and it will show you the cost distribution. Okay, so my cost distribution is between intercompany COGS and trade in transit valuation. So I've shown you the cost distribution only for the source organization, cost organization. Now we'll come to receipt accounting. Okay, so we'll have to come to create receipt accounting distribution because we haven't done this. And receipt accounting distribution is mainly for that particular business unit. And that this business unit is related to our destination organization. So we'll have to select the business unit. Okay, because of this capital, actually, like it was not able, I was not able to search. Okay, so it shows me I've got access to build to business unit, which is Poland, Poland Immersion, Italy. And we are going to be selecting because we are going to be receiving the goods in Italy inventory org, and which is associated to Pepco Italy business unit. So let's submit. we'll quickly check the process. Okay, still running. And once it is succeeded, we'll quickly check the transaction imported. Now, I would like to highlight one more point actually. So whenever you are doing the receipting, when you are doing the receipt accounting, it's always better to do the cost accounting at the end. Okay, so we'll just quickly check our review accounting distribution. And we'll put the transaction date and even the transfer order. I can't see the transfer order. It should be in advance option. But anyway, okay, so it's showing us to, so you can see the transfer order, source order, source document order number, which is 1004, which is nothing but is our transfer order number. And it has got two events. One is receipting and second is accrual. Okay, trade in transit valuation and receiving inspection. And these entries are going to be counter uh, entries like is going to be created within the cost accounting. So when you're pushing both actually from cost accounting module or accounting from cost accounting module and receipting module, this counter is going to take place actually in the ledger. So we have created cost distribution and then we have created receipt accounting distribution. So this is the last step in which we are going to be, I'll be demonstrating actually like how these intercompany invoices are getting created. This gets created if you configure financial orchestration properly. This is between two legal entities. So when the transaction is happening between two legal entities, like my Pepco Poland is selling the goods actually to Pepco Italy. Now both are two different legal entity and they are in trade. They are exchanging the goods basically. So one becomes your receivables and second becomes your payable. So in this particular example, my Pepco Poland becomes my seller and my Pepco Italy is going to be my buyer basically. Yep. So let's click on financial orchestration. Before showing you the how to configure the flows, and also I'll show you the financial orchestration executions, which is so those transactions which we have created. Now that has triggered the financial flow basically to create the intercompany transactions. Before coming to the setup, I would like to highlight these two important aspects of the configuration. One is the profit center party relationship. Now, if you see, like I've created multiple relationships, I'll focus on this one. Yep. If you see, like this profit center business unit, because you have to create BU profile, like buyer profile and the seller profile for each profit center business unit. So we have created for Pepco, let's say. And then, so if you see the BU profile, my procurement business unit is going to be Pepco Poland and bill to business unit is also going to be Pepco Poland. Now, if you come to the seller part, my receivable is going to be Pepco Poland, which is correct. But my buyer is Italy because I need to establish the relationship here. So my sellers could be many basically for this particular scenario. Like I can I can sell to Italy and I can sell to Greece, I can sell to Hungary, I can sell to Germany. In that particular case, I'll have to keep adding those records over here, which establishes the relationship. Yeah. Now coming back to the orchestration flow. So these are the CD actually which Oracle has given, but on top of that you have to create the process. Now if you click on this one, which I've created for internal transfers, one could be for the procurement, one could be for shipment. Now in our case we are dealing with transfer order. So this is the relationship you have to create. You have to create the primary routes. So my shipping business unit is Pepco Poland, my receiving business unit is Italy, and then you have to enter all your standard pricing rule basically. Now the standard pricing rule I've kept as 5% markup. That means if I'm selling the goods from Pepco Poland to Pepco Italy, I need to add 5% to the invoice basically. Yeah. So this is my transfer pricing rule. This is my documentation and accounting rule, and the rest of the stuff will remain the same basically. Okay. Now coming back to the financial orchestration execution. Now you must be knowing we have created one transaction which is like I'll show you internal transfer, which is 10004. Let's click on this one and I'll show you. So if you see like event number, if you see like source event identifier, inter-organization shipment, yeah. Now if you click on view task, you will see there are all these tasks have been accomplished, all these tasks have been completed successfully. Now it's waiting for the intercompany receivable to happen, and once intercompany receivable invoice is created, it will we need to run the import payable report in order to create the payable invoice. So let's run, because currently the transaction has been interfaced into the receivable interface table. So let's run the AR invoice. Right. Now you see the business unit. The business unit is like for the receivables. It's going to be Pepco Poland, because you need to create a receivable invoice. Now the transaction source, you have to select the transaction source, which is nothing but Aura supply chain orchestration. Yes, if you see this one, Aura supply chain financial orchestration. I'm going to leave rest as it is. Press the submit button and we'll see like the status of this particular process. So yes, our process has been completed successfully. You can see the transaction, like it has been created. So the invoice has been created. Let's go to receivables. Okay, sorry, not to receivable. We can check the status here itself. You can see the status, and the transaction number is 10001. That's nothing but it's an invoice number. And I can show you quickly that invoice number on the receivable side. Okay, so this is the invoice which was created, and you can see the supplier, the customer. Basically the customer is nothing but it's Pepco bill to Pepco Italy, so and so, so and so customer. Yep. And this is my invoice, and this is my line which got interfaced from supply chain financial orchestration. Okay, so now we have completed this one, account receivables. Now it's time to, this is the last activity which is pending, basically, which we need to run. Okay, so I'll run import payables report, and it is nothing but it's an interface. Now it has got dependency. If your receivable invoice didn't get created, you cannot run the payable import. It both have got dependency in with each other. Now tell me who is paying. In this particular case, the payable invoice needs to be created within Italy, because Italy is going to be paying the amount actually to Pepco Poland. And again, same thing, like we have to select the source. The source is here, is more descriptive, I would say, supply chain financial orchestration. And I'm just going to press the submit button. So it hasn't succeeded. So let's quickly check view task. Right, so if you see, like, the payable invoices has been created, and so let's go to payable invoice, and I'll quickly show you the payable invoice to complete my end-to-end cycle. You can see the latest one which got created. Right, so supplier site is Italy, supplier is Pepco Poland. Okay. So this was the end of my demo. Hope you liked my session, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.